boom, you dead. You stroking out. You gone. On the table. Sis is done. Was that ass really to die for? If your surgeon got you dead on the table, you was probably gonna wake up anyways with the ass that still wasn't to die for. So sis, what are we dying for? Hey y'all, it's Francine Simone, your conscious consumer of dumb bitch shit, and on today's episode of Earth is Trailer Park, I bring you the question, where is the line between self-expression, women's liberation, body sovereignty, and confronting the pillaging of blackness? First and foremost, I've got a few points that I want to talk about as far as diving into that question and trying to figure out the answer, the balance between expressing ourselves as women, being works of art, our own bodies of art, figuratively and literally, and, confronting the white man, because honestly, this whole BBL epidemic is so intertwined with whiteness and white supremacy and capitalism that it's just, we need to talk about it. So first off, who are we to ever judge a woman's body, let alone a black woman's body, since it has been a journey for black women, not even just our mothers, our grandmothers, but all the way back to our womb mothers who were strapped to the bottom of boats and dragged across the globe. So when it comes to being able to have body sovereignty, when it comes to being able to express ourselves, to have liberation as women, even within the black community, I am the first person to say, if it ain't your body, you ain't got shit to say. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't yours, I'm gonna need you to... Sis, being a melanin queen is a gift. We have been decorating and doing all sorts of artistic things with our bodies since the beginning of time. So this isn't a question about what's okay. Do people need to just love the body they're born in? Do people need to do X, Y, and Z? I'm not here to discuss that at all. Honestly, it's none of my business what another sis wants to do with her body. If she wants to tattoo it, stitch it, cut it up, leave it whole, paint it, decorate it, that's none of my business, to be completely honest. And thank God, because if it was, bitch, who'd be taking care of my business? You see what I'm saying? So first and foremost, I don't think that anyone has room at the table, especially to be having this conversation as about black bodies as a non-black woman. Notice I said non-black woman. I don't think anybody else gets to have a conversation about this topic concerning us. And even within the group of black women, I think we should be having this conversation individually about what we want and about this, that, and the other, about how it affects us and our body and our mind. And I don't mean ours is a collective, I mean ours is me, ours is you, ours is me. But individually, you understand what I'm saying. So I just wanted to drop that first and foremost before we jump into this conversation, because I think that there is a bigger issue at hand other than how each of us feels about somebody else's cosmetic choices. Now, I will say that I tend to judge white women walking around like wisdom teeth, because not only has the black woman's body been sexualized, demonized, colonized, and now commodified, white women have unconsciously been jumping from beauty trend to beauty trend to beauty trend, trying to be pick-me's so that they can appease their white chad, because they allowed their white men to completely destroy the cultures that they came from. These Caucasian women allowed these Caucasian men to whiteify themselves, destroy all of their culture. So now they all unconsciously go around cannibalizing and consuming what they call appreciation, but what we call appropriation, other people's cultures. But as I stated earlier, black women have been boiled down to tits, ass, hips, thighs, and we've been sexualized. And considering that in white culture being sexual is something that is considered taboo, I don't understand what's with the repression, what's with the I like to have sex but can't talk about sex. I don't understand. I remember growing up and reading Cosmopolitan and thinking that sex was like this highly complicated thing, because all these white people and white gay men and white women, but white gay men writing articles about women having sex always boggles the mind. They were coming out with all these articles about like how difficult sex was and how getting your goods is hard, or about how achieving orgasms is difficult, or about having sex is uncomfortable. And I'm sitting here like, without a doubt, sex can be uncomfortable for anybody, right? Like, the scene has to be set. But without a doubt, I think white people have the most issue having sex because they're so repressed. They don't have any education about sex. They don't witness sexual like energy in the home. That's something that's kept under lock and key. And their parents don't want to show not only communication skills, but romance or sexual energy in the home. It's considered gross and a sin and all of that stuff. So it's no wonder why when they come out and they want to have sex, they end up having like dry vanilla craziness or doing weird stuff and everybody's dry and people are spitting on it in weird ways. Like, it makes a lot of sense why these articles are coming out about this, but growing up as a person of color, as a Black woman who did witness sexual energy in the home without being sexualized, because there's a difference. Witnessing divine feminine energy from the women and how the men treat divine feminine energy and that low-key energy where you're like, y'all gross, let me go. They're over here giving each other eyes. I know what that means. Without it being sexualized, I'm not witnessing sexual acts. I'm not witnessing aggression or all of these kinds of things. I'm witnessing this beautiful thing that as a young person makes me uncomfortable because I haven't come into my own power yet, for sure. But I'm witnessing all of that and then reading these weird ass articles like, damn. But growing up in this society that's dominated by white culture as a Black woman, I come into these spaces and my body is, first of all, automatically sexualized because white people have sexualized the Black body, both men and women, since they decided that they were going to be colonizers. Just making so much noise. And then, of course, because they live in a completely sexually repressed culture, the sexualizing of that body becomes something that's demonized. The white women are resentful towards the Black female body and intrigued by the Black female body and the Black male body. The white man, same thing, intrigued and also repulsed and also it's a taboo. It becomes their new sexual taboo. Can you imagine being so repressed that you make an entire group of people your new sexual taboo? The objectification. The commodifying. Y'all, this has been happening from Sarah Baartman, the Black Venus, all the way to Nicki Minaj and the George Lopez show.
It is impossible for anyone to resist you. Let me run this clip. This is Regis. Regis like 85 years old. Check this out. Check this out.
This looks like you got a little strap around you there, you know what I mean?
We have to protect your magical powers.
Okay.
Okay, so I created a booty protector for you. Stand up.
Now, y'all, watching that clip from me today was very uncomfortable. Back in 2011, I probably, like anybody else, might have laughed it off. Felt like, that ain't it, but, blah, 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 blah. Or even felt good, like, yes, her body, because, I'm finally seeing representation on TV, even if it's, a woman being sexualized. Attention is attention.
I love this. George, thank you.
Especially when it comes to beauty standards, because back then it was all laughs. It was very normal to sexualize the Black woman's body. But today in all of 2021, we're not only seeing the sexualization of it, we're also seeing the demonization of it because influencer culture. We've got BBLs popping up in influencer culture, and then you have all sorts of men consistently demonizing women in influencer roles because of their own insecurities. But then we also see the commodification of the Black body. It's not just Black women who have these bodies naturally or even with a little bit of enhancements here and there, but it looks natural, that are out here being showcased. It's prominently white women who do not have these bodies walking around like wisdom teeth. Sis, you're walking on stilts, but you got ham hocks. I don't understand. Make me understand it. It's really disrespectful. It's disrespectful, the thigh gap with ham hock thighs. How does that even work? But this is what comes of white women trying on Black bodies like costumes. Y'all, I know that a lot of people out there are asking, what's the line between appreciation and appropriation? If sis wanted to completely monsterify her body up like this because she appreciates the Black woman's body, what's the problem? First of all, it's only appreciation, one, when you partake in a culture exchange and you were invited to do so. then you are appreciating the place who is allowing you to partake in an exchange. Okay? Or when you are paying homage to something, but you give credit to it. Okay? That's appreciation. Appropriation is when you take something, repackage it, and sell it as if it's your own thing. And I'm sorry, but as soon as I think it was in 2018, everyone was talking about the Kardashian body, and these women were walking around in black bodies and black costume and talking about how it's the Kardashian booty. That's appropriation. They just pillaged and repackaged, went on reality TV and sold it back to you. That is appropriation. That is appropriation, y'all. But the problem with it, when you boil it all down, is the fact that white women, as I stated earlier, jump from beauty standard to beauty standard to beauty standard. In the 90s, if your ass wasn't flat, you were fat. Imagine for me growing up as a young developing body, I had curves and I was developing curves. I was rather thin, but I had, again, thighs, a little bit of butt, and I was developing breast. And as I was growing up, the body dysmorphia hit real hard when hip hugger jeans meant that now my butt can't even fit in these jeans because there's not enough space to fit my butt in them. So I must be fat. I can't fit clothes. We're shopping and we can't find clothes for me, which means now I have to go to the bigger size section, which now, my mom's like, girl, what are you doing? Like, wait, like, what is happening? For the fact that even this crazy nonsense has infiltrated another black adult woman's body where she's looking at her child's body, probably terrified because she can see how this is going to be sexualized real quick. And, as a parent, I understand how terrifying it is to see how your child can be used up by the world, especially when you're not watching them 24/7 because you have experienced having to fight, having to run, having to, do what you got to do to make sure people aren't trying to use you up as a black woman. But seeing that, and then also being inundated with the same messaging that certain body types are attractive and wanting your child to also be attractive so that they can, because, pretty privilege exists and she's got a pretty face. So she needs a pretty body to match it so she can excel in this world, so she can get a decent person who's going to pay her bills. It's a wild paradigm, that matrix. Wow. You know what I'm saying? But as a young girl growing up in all of that, the messaging just meant that my body was wrong. And this is when black bodies aren't trending. Can you imagine growing up where black bodies are trending, right? And then the white woman decides, no, I don't like it anymore. What happens when a trend falls out? You make fun of everybody still in it. Bell bottoms, before they started coming back again, if anybody's walking around in bell bottoms while skinny jeans were coming out, it was like, oh my God, learn how to get a figure. What are you doing? Skinny jeans now amongst Gen Z. I don't know how many times I've seen some Gen Zers come for the millennials in their skinny jeans. And the millennials just be breaking down on TikTok like, what's wrong with skinny jeans, girl? Sis, chill. Just because a 14-year-old doesn't like your skinny jeans doesn't mean you have to have a mental breakdown. There's something else going on there, right? But those are just jeans. Those are just different cuts and styles of jeans. What happens when you do that with an entire body style? For instance, like I said, so many of these white women influencers are being demonized for their body already. Imagine just walking around while black, this your natural body, and you got people out here just picking up on that vibe. And all of a sudden, you're just existing, but your entire body is coming under target. It's a part of this whole niche and group that you're not even a part of. You're not even a part of these white women going out buying these wisdom tooth bodies to be, I don't know, catfishing men, doing whatever the hell they over there doing. I'm not really a part of white influencer cultures. I really don't know. I just know that they're crazy. They're always in the news for something wild and weird. I don't subscribe.
Y'all are really testing me on some stuff that I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
So therefore, all that they're doing is now attached to the figure of the black body. And all you were was born with it. They just bought, sold it, used it up, and then tossed it aside when they're bored, when they're tired, when they're done, when it becomes a joke to laugh at white women like that. And by association, black women like that. Yeah, I don't want to be a white trend. No. Whiteness can take me out their mouth, my whole body, my whole everything out their entire mouth. They need to go find their own thing, trend that up, destroy it, eat it up, cannibalize it, whatever. Stick to that sort of thing. but leave other people's bodies out of it. Thank you very much. Now, before I kind of get into the last point where I think a lot of the dangers really do coincide, I want to mention this one thing, and it's about Black women and Black influencers specifically, because it ties in so much to what I'm saying about white influencer culture. Pre-YouTube 2020, finding Black people in spaces that aren't Black, so hair, makeup, maybe reaction videos, right? Because we're funny. Finding Black people in them spaces, they were not there. Where were they? Where were they? They were there. They were just not amplified. Because if I wanted to talk about anime or gaming, first of all, either I have to have my tits out and be like, I'm Hinata, look at me go. You know, for anybody to pay attention, because again, the Black woman is sexualized, or I just ain't getting the views or the clicks. Either you're sexualized and people click on you because they want to watch your titties bounce while you're doing something benign, or you're just not getting the clicks, you're not getting the views. However, white women in those same spaces can get support from other white women in those spaces, from other white passing people in those spaces, or Asians who can be in spaces that are like gaming, lifestyle, plant, home, any of these spaces. And it's because when you're white passing, you're allowed to exist outside of your sexuality because you have the privilege of the virgin identity, the meek identity, the she is a woman. The Black woman, for a very long time, has only ever been allowed outside of Black communities, and sometimes inside of Black communities, to have the entire persona of the sexual woman. We love to look at her. The very funny Black woman because she's loud and Black. Or the magical Negro. She's our spiritual woman who tells it like it is and gives us all the tea. I mean, even in 2020, now 2021, Black women have come up in a lot of commentary spaces, but we're still fulfilling the role of the Negro Black woman, the one who tells it like it is. We've just decided that we're not doing it for white people. We're doing it for ourselves, and we're entertaining ourselves, and we're in this group with each other. And if other people want to look and watch, by all means, sis, get the engagement. Subscribe, like, comment down below. Get a little kitty cat if you made it this far. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be here if you want, but at the end of the day, I'm here for me and people who look like me. That representation, reaching out, building that community with other melanated sis like myself. And you don't even have to be Black to be in that melanated cis space, because, you know, melanin is melanin. But I say all that not to say that all women don't go through sexualization by most egregiously cis straight men. But I am saying that Black women have it worse. I'm not here to play Oppression Olympics, but I am here to bring you the uncomfortable reality, and that is of the experience of the Black woman. Now, that being said, this is the last point I'm going to make, and I think this is probably the most important point when it comes to having BBLs, because at the end of the day, even though white women have been commodifying this body, it is by far more likely that Black women are out there buying these bodies for themselves, either because they felt like they did not fit the Black standard, which now the world is setting the Black standard to be that Black women look like this. That's whiteness. That's whiteness. If you've ever felt like you weren't Black enough, that wasn't because Black people made you feel that way. It was because whiteness said that only Black people could be and act and behave a certain way. And so therefore, when you saw those characteristics in your Black community and you did not fit that, you felt like you weren't Black enough. I don't care if other people made fun of you. That's in Black culture. We make fun of people for doing anything, sis. I make fun of myself on a daily for just existing while Black, okay? That is part of culture. We like to clown each other. So if you like anime, I'ma clown you for it. But also, Naruto is bae, okay? I'm sorry, anybody who clowned you for liking anime and you felt like I was a nerd and I had to like relate to white people, bruh, they were probably watching Dragon Ball Z, okay? They were clowning you because it was fun, because you're funny, because you do funny things and you act in funny ways and you seem uncomfortable. If you seem uncomfortable in Black spaces, we will probably clown you about it, because why you uncomfortable, fam? Why you uncomfortable? Why you acting like that? You know what I'm saying? It's funny. Is it helpful? Is it kind? Probably not. I ain't say, and I'm not here to apologize for the acts of all black people or to excuse the behavior either. But what I'm saying is that uncomfortability or that thing that I'm not black enough, that comes from whiteness, first and foremost. So you have a lot of these black women who are getting these surgeries because they feel like they don't fit that standard. Now, that's not all of them. Some black women are out here just getting a little nip and tuck here because sis just wants to carve out that body that she wants. You know what I mean? And again, like my first point that I brought up, who are we to judge? The body is an art. Do with it what you will. We're here for a good time, not a long time, as my sis MK Ultra likes to say. So do what you need to do. You get what I mean? But the medical system was not made for black bodies. Y'all gotta be careful going under the knife. First of all, BBLs are probably one of the most dangerous procedures out there because you have a lot of arteries. They're very tiny in your ass space, and if you get some fat stuck up in them arteries, it goes straight to your heart and boom, you dead. You stroking out. You gone. On the table. Sis is done. Is that ass really to die for? Was that ass really to die for? Like, if your surgeon got you dead on the table, you was probably gonna wake up anyways with the ass that still wasn't to die for. So sis, what are we dying for? You get what I'm saying? And honestly, there comes into play a lot of things. When white people commodify things like our entire bodies and the makeup of our bodies, best believe that all the white women who are going out here and doing this, not all of them are rich by all means, no. And some of them are dying too. Yes. I'm not saying that all white people have money. No. I'm not saying that all white people have privilege. Yes. I am saying that. But when white people go to these places, they're going to have different care simply because they're white. And that does not mean that the person who's caring for them cares more for white people than they don't. That means that medicine was practiced, made, and geared for white bodies. If you have a skin rash and go to the hospital, they might not notice or might just think you ashy or might just think, black people, sometimes they be looking kind of weird. They're not going to know what your skin rash is for because they only know what skin rashes look on non-melanated pink-ass skin. Why? Because the medical field was not meant to save and help black bodies. The medical field was not meant to understand and to make better the black body. It was made to do that for white bodies. It was built in a white system. White medicine for white people. As black women, we are least likely to get the care in healthcare. As black healthcare workers, they're least likely to even get the schedules. They're most likely to be put in trauma situations. They're more likely to be understaffed, to be having to do the most for the least, to have higher expectations. Y'all, it ain't a good look. Black people in the medical field, when it comes to care or even when it comes to working, we are underserved, underappreciated, and undervalued. So you have to be very careful when you decide to go under the knife. Ask yourself why. Is it because you want to look black? Sis, if you were born with melanin, you was black. You can't look blacker. Is it just because you want to have a banging body here and there and you ain't trying to do all the working out, or you did all the working out and you still ain't got the body that you're looking for because that's just not your body makeup? Sis, I get it. Do what you got to do. I am not here to judge you. I am here, though, to say be extra careful, be extra specific, and be extra hard on them people. Ask them questions. How many black women have you served? How many of them are alive and doing well? Do you know what you're doing with the black body? Okay, because it's for real. It's very serious. I mean, just as a woman, you out here risking it. And as a black woman, it's even worse. I'm not here to chastise people on what their bodies are, to talk about beauty standards and this and that, because when it comes to us, it's always different. So I just want to say, when you do, go out there and be careful, sis, okay? And for everybody else, I mean, do what you gotta do. I don't know. I'm at my business. I'm at my black ass business. So engage, y'all. Leave a comment down below what you think. If you've had any experiences with the medical field and you're black, leave down below your comments on your experiences, what you guys think, or just your thoughts in general of the BBL epidemic and as far as it concerns with white women wearing black bodies. I'm very interested to know. If anybody who cares to share, they had a BBL, why, if they felt like, it was a really good experience. And y'all, if you can shout out any, doctors that you feel like were great for other people. I'm not saying that y'all should use my comment section as a place to go look for your BBL people. Like, that ain't on me. But information exchange, we are in the digital age. And with that, Tell your friends to come for the laugh, to stay for the ascension. Yes. And y'all, I will see you in the next video. Bye.